Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual planetarium. This is the Yahn Planetarium at Penn State Behrend. So if you were joining us in person at this time, of course we would be talking about the constellations and planets that are visible in the night sky right now. But we would also be talking about human spaceflight, and that's a favorite thing of mine to talk about. Right now there's a big deal going on. We have a mission to the space station that will be happening on Wednesday, May 27th at 4:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I'm being very specific because during a rocket launch, every minute counts. So if you miss a minute or two, you'll miss a lot of what's going on. And so we do have SpaceX teaming up with NASA. This is part of their public-private partnership that's going on, the Commercial Crew Program, as it's called. And we have two NASA astronauts that will be riding aboard a SpaceX rocket. The capsule, actually, that they will be in is called the Dragon. This will be called a Crew Dragon because there's a crew. And so these two astronauts will be launching to the space station and spending a certain amount of time there, which is yet to be determined. But what I want to do is show you an animation of what's going on, what will be going on, and I'll talk our way through it here a little bit. So as you can see, we have some vehicles headed out to the launch pad, very futuristic looking launch pad, and that's something that SpaceX likes to do. Look ahead to the future and be very, very modern looking. All right, and in a moment here, you'll see the astronauts getting out of their crew vehicle here with the launch pad in the background. A very futuristic looking gantry here that they will walk across to get into their capsule. And again, the capsule is called the Dragon. This will be the Crew Dragon with the crew. They also sent supplies to the space station, but of course that capsule was not rated for humans. So this is a Crew Dragon. All right, and the launch will happen very quickly. We hope it's successful. We hope the weather holds out. This is a test flight called Demo 2. So the first mission, the first demo, Demo 1, had no people on board. There was a little issue with the computer, with the timer, with the clock, and so it didn't totally cause the mission to be aborted or anything like that, but it caused a few issues. And if there were astronauts on board, they could have compensated for that, and everything would have been fine. So hopefully this mission will go off without a hitch. Now here we are, there's an astronaut in the space station looking out at the capsule as it gets closer to the space station, the ISS. You can see the front end of the capsule open there so it can dock. It will be docking. It can dock autonomously and undock autonomously. But if there are any issues, again, the crew can take over and handle that. So it'll spend a certain amount of time up there. It can stay in space. This capsule can stay up for about 3 months, but NASA would like that to be 6 months. So hopefully that will be happening in the future. There we see the capsule undocking. And eventually they will head back to Earth. And this is like the old days of Apollo, where the capsule will come down on a parachute and eventually splash down in the ocean. So we'll see that. During this mission, by the way, the astronauts will test environmental systems, displays, maneuvering thrusters, and of course, lots more. It takes less than 24 hours to get up to the space station, and not very long to come down, of course, either. So just after a few maneuvers with the thrusters, they can drop out of orbit and come on down and land in the ocean, and you can see the ship is there waiting for them. And so we hope this is a very big success. All right, and there's actually a lot of other things that we could talk about. Maybe we'll talk about that in the future. A lot of other human spaceflight programs going on, a lot of other companies that are working with NASA to make things happen. In fact, a big one that we'll talk about again sometime is, or in the future, is heading to the moon. We are planning to go back to the moon in 2024, which is actually right around the corner, really not that far away. And so there's a lot to talk about as far as the returning to the moon. There are a lot of good reasons to go back to the moon. It's not the same moon that we knew before. We know a lot more about the moon right now. So we'll talk about that in another episode here. So thanks for joining us. This is Yahn Planetarium at Penn State Behrend.